Hi, welcome to One Word a Day. I'm Sophia Pilot, Institute University of Chinese. Let's dive into our December's special edition of extracting some of the quotes from Xi, which we can regard it as Xi's political legacy by such expressions that you can understand his point of view, his positioning, and his way of trying to influence or try to mobilize or motivate the Chinese people as a country leader. Okay, so now we're forwarding to 2012, which is the year he came into power as the top #1 guy, as the alpha of the country. Okay, so this is one expression he used as 打铁还需自身硬. Okay, toughness. Okay, so there you can smell some, manhood, right? Some expression of this 硬. So that year, he was using the metaphor of making iron or making steel. So I guess China entered industrialization age probably gradually, but especially after the establishment of China under the CCP regime, this playing catch up of the industrialization was kind of haunting the regime. So this symbolization of the industrialization, because that's the basic building material. You have to create a lot of iron and steel, which China then overcompensate, becomes the #1, the powerhouse of manufacturing, of producing lots of iron, steel, make lots of buildings, infrastructures that eventually became true, right? But this symbol, this metaphor in the language using beat iron, that here we use the beat iron to capture the process, this industrial process of making iron or steel. I don't exactly know how the material was made, but that's in the language. We use beat as if we have to beat up, be violent with the material. And then this 硬, and also it's kind of, okay, in English we have tough guy, right? Tough. Chinese translated as 硬汉. So definitely this 硬 as a language was somewhat have this connotation of masculinity, this toughness, this hardness, right? And so his whole expression is, if you want to beat up iron, right? Something tough, you have to first toughen yourself, which is logical. We can buy into that, right? To make something tough, you have to first be tougher, right? Still requires 还需, well, that's a Chinese expression, and that means that's the precondition. In order for you to beat iron, the precondition is yourself, 自身. We use 自身 referring to your body, your self body, like your own self have to be tough. I translate it as a hardness because that in its own physical sense, like to beat something that's already hard in its surface, you have to be harder on your surface. So that's the hard. So I want to dive in a little bit of this hard symbol. It made of left and right. The left is the stone symbol, and stone with this upper left frame of Chinese framing. That means higher ground. This is a lower ground. So higher ground with something of this shape. So of course, it's a two-dimensional depiction of a three-dimensional thing. So you can only imagine something that's shaped somewhat like that and on a higher ground. That's most likely to be a stone. So stone and hardness connected because probably that's a commonly known hard material. That's stone. You can break it, but it's hard to carve on it, right? I mean, I guess you can, but with something harder on the surface. So that's stone. And the right side is 柄, and Okay, this is three-finger hand symbol holding this vertical plus the horizontal line thing. So that thing, we can view it as a tool, but originally it was the fortune-telling tool. So this means like man, our hand symbol in there means man-made thing, like a man actively making something. And 丙 here on the top, actually in Chinese, we have 甲乙丙丁, so 丙 is the third position. It symbolizes the change between yin and yang. Okay, so picture this yin yang, this black and white ball shaped thing with a big S curve divide in the middle. So a lot of Chinese concepts, the words that tied back to this this worldview of how the world operates, which is oscillating between the yin and yang, the white and black, the dark and bright, right? The good and evil, however you want to package your cultural meaning into it. So this bipolar oscillating, then shown on this character means it's changing the yang, which is the solar, which is the bright, the energy, is going down. So if we look at this horizontal line, means out there, the sky, right? The environmental temperature. And then this arch thing means underground, something invisible. And then there is this thing that means entering. So this horizontal thing is this environment. And I guess, okay, we can view the top as the upper limit of human existing environment, the sky. And this is the underground, right? So this is the lower limit. So humans exist in between the sky and the earth, right? And then this means entering. And the implied thing, not expressed over there, is this solar energy. This yang is diminishing, it's going downward toward the under the ground. At least that's the sense. So I guess seasonal-wise, it's more like the fall season, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, the fall season. That's probably why Chinese use 丙 to mean number 3, the third quarter. That's when the super hot summer, the solar energy is going down to as if to the sense of Chinese bodily temperature change of the environment of the temperatures. The hotness, the solar energy is entering under the ground. So we don't feel it, in between the ground and the sky. Like humans existing here, we don't feel that energy anymore. So there is this transitioning of season or energy from yang to yin. So in that S curve, there is this inflection point of now it's getting colder. Okay, that's what 丙 is about. It's Q3, okay. And so the right hand changing thing, that means man-made change. And this 丙 means nature seasonal change. So one is nature's change, one is man-made change, combined to mean any kind of change, right? You have two major categories of changes. And then we have the stone. So stone means the goal of what you want to change to. It means you want to harden as stone, like you want to change into the stone hardness, stone level of hardness. Okay, so that's what yin is about. Okay, it's quite worthy. So again, the pronunciation 打铁还需自身硬. Okay, so that's the expression that I call it self-toughness. Okay, I guess this tough guy mentality is universal. It's appealing to all kinds of alpha male, mentality. You have to be hard. This 自身硬, I call it self-toughness. That I want to have a call back to back in 1958, which is the first regime or the first generation of political leader under Chairman Mao, who through revolution got into power, so to speak, conquer or at least influence the whole China, right? Unified China, established country in 1949. So it's almost like after 10 years in. That shows revolutionists doesn't really know how to run a country, because I mean they visualize themselves as communism, right? As somebody who has the power to rewrite the script for the whole nation. But what's the script, right? They cannot just they can like, okay, Marxism, okay, Marx came up with theories, right? But that put into practice, somebody have to carry it out in reality, right? And this huge experiment in this country, down 10 years almost into the management under the communism, had then he kind of have this almost like a panic attack. Mao in his era, like, we don't really know what we were doing here, right? So just by kind of morale boosting. So as you can see, this is kind of Soviet Union style of poster making, kind of idealized empowerment of, you know, the workers, the industrial workers. In this case, is somebody who is somebody who is making iron and steel. That's the industrial symbolization, right? That's the, I guess that's a high tech back then, you know, to be able to catch up, and especially to have this pressure of now you're going to rewrite the script. So if you don't buy into the capitalism with what's viewed as the inferior way of organizing, you know, societal resources, then you have a better version, right? So how to prove that? To prove that, you have to prove you are superior in your productivity, in your efficiency, in industrialization, and which gives this poster's, you know, slogan, 祖国, motherland, industry, 工业飞跃发展, like you jump and leap, like develop in leaps and jumps. 吓得, like scare the shit out of United Kingdom, which was used as the, you know, the high benchmark of global superpower back then in 1958. In China's mindset, UK was the high watermark of capitalism, and using them as the benchmark of, okay, that's the goal we're going after. And okay, so scare them, 胆战心惊, as if they are shivering on their liver. And then they have shivers, shudders on their liver, and their hearts are kind of quivering. So that's a Chinese expression of 胆战心惊, to mean it's so scary that the British were scared of the Chinese kind of speed of development, because, you know, it's the empowerment. So what happened in that year was this great leap, 大跃进, you know, was called for by Chairman Mao. So he initiated. It's like, okay, we're developing. We have to prove we are superior. So to prove that, we have to use this industrial development benchmarking, which has produced more steel. So he was basically boiling down all the industrialization benchmarks to just one, producing more steels and irons. And what I ended up with is he mobilized the whole nation. And of course, this industrialization process, this steel creation, was a specialized thing. Like nobody, if you don't have the skill, the knowledge, the equipment, you cannot make it. But no, that cannot deter the, you know, the hardened communism, you know, passionate countrymen of this great nation of communism. So we have to show them that we can. Yes, we can, right? So that's the mentality, and end up created this huge waste of people throwing their utensils, whatever their metal pieces, scrapes of metal pieces they can find, like their cooking utensils, or I don't know, steel frames of bicycles, I don't know, to kind of pour all that already made things in use, pour them back to the melting pot so that supposedly more steel and irons can be produced again. I mean, how idiocracy is that? But the whole nation bought into that, and they have to show they are you were more enthusiastic than your neighbor. So then there was this herd mentality going in the wrong direction altogether. So that's what happened in 1958. And I connect these two dots of Xi back in 2012 when he first came into power. He was kind of had this callback moment of back to 1958, using this iron and steel metaphor to show we're tough guy, we're self-reliant, at least, like we have to be tough ourselves first. So this, toughness, declaration of toughness, 自身硬, had this root decades ago in this, obsession with this one industrialization index, which is the production volume of steel and iron. And that's the context. All right. Cash into the currency of thinking about one word a day with Sophie. See you another day.